Hello everybody, this is a overview and training and actually a promo video as well for Local Promoter. We're on version 1.91. This has actually been 2 years in development. This is not something that we just put together in a couple of months. And the main thrust of this system is to find highly targeted leads locally. And you can do this in a lot of different ways with this system. And I'm going to go over the three main ways right now. So first, what you can do with this tech is to mine Facebook groups. And if you intend to build your own local group, which is one of the purposes of this, or to build a list, especially an email list, of people that are business networkers or of a certain target market locally, especially people that go to events. The initial name of the software was Event Broadcaster because, that was the initial thrust of it, was to be able to get thousands of people in your local area that attend events and then market to them. Event promotion is big business, and if you have an email list of people that are willing to put hours of their time and a tank full of gas and drive down to an event, especially to pay for one in their local area to do networking, those are some serious networking people. And so we figured out a way to acquire these people and to quickly build a list of them, and that is what this software is about. Now, you can build groups, especially in Facebook, but just having an email list of these people that you can target and charge people for promoting their event is huge. So all of the messages go in here. Okay, it doesn't matter which tab that you're on, the messages start here. The accounts are, under Manage Accounts, are for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Meetup. And what the software can do is to reverse engineer the people in Meetup groups, find their interests, find them on LinkedIn, and then to acquire their email address. And that is the main component of this software. But there's other things as well. So to get right to it, when you join a group, and let's say that you're going to join a business networking group that's local to you, whenever you join any group, I've got one of my favorite groups here, which is called LinkedIn Marketing Hackers, and they're not a local group, but I regularly acquire the people that are joining this, and so I'm going to use it as an example. So when you join a group, then the membership becomes visible, and on Facebook, they show you the people that are not just members. They also show you the owners and moderators and managers of a group. And also, they show you the people that have just joined, which is extremely important because these people, usually either hours or within the last few days, they have joined a specific group, meaning they have raised their hand and said, "Hey, I am interested in this." So with this tech, we can contact just those specific people, and that's what new member of a group. You can also do people that comment in your timeline and people that are friends on a specific profile, like let's say a big affiliate marketer, if you want the same people as them. What the software does is it finds the members that you have in common, that you have a common friend with. In that manner, Facebook is okay with you inviting 50, 60 people a day. Some people say even more, although I don't push it. I stop at 50. And I've never had my account restricted doing this. The key is to have somebody in common. So this is what the software finds. It goes into new members of the group. Whatever group it is, you just put in the link here. And then it finds those people that you have in common, and then it invites them, it friends them, and it puts them in a specific friends list, which you can set up inside your your Facebook account. And I have this set for 100, which I could do, but I usually just set it to 50. And I select Add Friend. Now, you can turn that off and just collect the profiles and add friend later if you want to look at them first. So it will bring in the profiles, and if you want to look at the profiles first, you turn this off, then you select them, and then you turn this on and click play, and it will add them as a friend in a specific list. Now, it's very important that they're in that specific list, because then when you post into your timeline, you can post only to them. And that's what's really cool. You can market to them over and over. And you can also private message them. So this collects them and puts them into that specific friends list for you to market to. Now, we'll get to the private messaging in just a moment. But the strategy here is to go first to that group, that whatever Facebook group it is, and to friend the owner and or managers or moderators of that group. And once you do that, then generally speaking, because other people have done that as well, you will have a friend in common. And so since you're connected to one of them, then you can acquire a lot of people this way. And again, the software will sort out who has a friend connection with you and who doesn't. So basically, you put in the group, select which activity you want, set limit to 50, select add friend, set in your friends list, and hit play. And the software will do the rest. And that is the Facebook tab. On the Facebook friend, you can bring in all of your friends, or you can select get only recently friended. Now, that will bring the most recent people to the top. So let's say that you've got 25 people that have accepted your friend request today. Then what you can do is you select get only recently friends. It'll bring in those 25, and then you can select those people to private message. Now, you can't do more than 40 on a private message, and I try and stay under about 35. So you have your message here, you select which message you want, and once you have these selected, brought in from the play button and selected, then you hit message, and it will go ahead and send a private message to them. And you can invite them into a conversation. This is a great way to have a quick conversation with people. You can put in your phone number if you want. You can put in a group URL asking them to join, which is a good thing to do. But we do have a facility for that as well, and that's under the group builder. What is this up here? Well, basically what you want to do every once in a while, every few weeks, every 3 or 4 weeks, you want to come in here, hit the play button. It'll bring in all of these people. Now what this is, and I've got 215 here at this time, what this is people that have not accepted your friend request. Okay, so if you have friended people not in the last few days, but generally speaking, if you've friended people and they have not accepted your friend requests within a week or so, then they end up here. Now, if you end up accumulating 1,000 people that have not accepted your friend requests, Facebook will stop inviting people. They'll stop you allowing you to friend people. So you want to every once in a while come in here and bring them in, and then select them and hit this X, and that will withdraw that friend request. So it's a kind of like an on-follow system in Twitter or Instagram. It just keeps your account clean. The group builder, this is where the rubber meets the road for bringing people into your group. So your friends in here, basically you select your Facebook friends, all of them, or a Facebook special list, or load email. Okay, so if it's a special list, then like back here when we were doing the friends, okay, then on a special list you would put in that special list name. Okay, so if I want to just bring in the people that I've been targeting from a LinkedIn group, LinkedIn friends, then I put that in there. So that's one of the lists that I had set up. If you want all friends, you select here, and then if you want to load email down here in this facility, you can do that. Now, you set in the group URL, all right, just like we did back here, okay, all right, except that in this case, it's your group URL, the group that you own. So you paste that in there, and then you bring in whatever targeted friends you want, or all of your friends. You select them, and once selected, you hit play, and then it will invite them to join you in your group. It will send out a message to your friends and ask them to join your group. Down here, we can load emails, and I wouldn't do more than a couple hundred emails at a time when you do this. But you put in your group, you put in a list of emails, name, email, okay, is the format in a text file or CSV file, and then you load the file here. Once loaded, and you've got it set on load email, once loaded, then you hit the play button, and it will begin loading those name and email into the group invite system, and Facebook will invite them into your group. It'll send them an email to invite them. So, this is really cool, because they don't even have to, be a friend of yours in order for you to do that. So, in both these ways, we can build our group. And of course, we can manually invite people, to a group as well. But using this automation allows us to invite hundreds of people into the group. And, we can invite them more than once as well. So that is what the group builder does. Over here on the join group, you're going to find groups, and I put in Denver Business as an example. Okay, so if I want to build a business networking group in Denver, I would go in here, put in here, I could put in, Denver Business Networking as well. I find some groups, and then once I find them, then I select the ones that I want to join. I click down here, the join search button, and I click join, and it will go in and it will join these groups for me. Now, if they have questions, challenge questions or whatever, then it can't do that, and you may have to go back manually for some of them and answer those questions. Or you can do that while it's going through and running the join if you're quick about it, because it's going to wait a couple minutes in between each one. So that's how you can find and join a bunch of different groups. Don't join more than 10 a day, though. And you can reach out, get inside of those groups, and then begin mining them and friending them, as we showed back here. SMTP, real simple. You can put in your email, and that goes over to the broadcast tab, and you can put in your your Gmail account. Your user and pass go in here, and it's defaulted to Gmail, so that it will start running in Gmail. Once you put in the information, your email address and pass, and you click add, and you can run a test here sending an email so that you know that it's working. So you can use Gmail to power email to send out email to people. You can use a different email address as well. You don't have to use Gmail, but in that case then you're going to set up different settings over here, and you're going to probably use a different port number, and you're going to use a different domain. So for those of you that are familiar with setting up SMTPs, you can come in here and set up any kind that you want and use that then for your email to all of the people that you're going to be collecting here. Now, one of the cool things, or perhaps the coolest thing about this software, is that you can join meetup groups, which is free to do. Just go to meetup.com, sign up, and you can set up an account in a few minutes. It does take a little bit to go through Meetup the first time and find different groups. I spent about half an hour my first time, but I was absolutely fascinated by it because you can find thousands of different groups in any metropolitan area, depending on where you live, of course. And I live in the Denver area, so there's thousands and thousands of groups here at Meetup. I don't even know how many there are, several thousand, I'm sure. And so I wanted ones that were marketing oriented for business networking, because my purpose is, has been to build up a list of people that are willing to drive down, 50 miles or however far, and spend money to do business networking, to promote themselves and network with other people. So I've got a list of these here. And I've downloaded downloaded them at different times. And in order to use this, after you join a group in Meetup, then you enter in your credentials for your Meetup account, and you hit this Get Group button. And it takes about 3 minutes, and it'll pull in all of your groups. Now, there's no real limit to how many groups you can do, but I found that doing more than about a dozen is possibly unnecessary. For instance, we've got New Tech Colorado. There's 13,000 members in there. Okay, and you're going to find overlap in between some of these groups, and so. When everything is said and done, and you've reverse engineered where these people are on LinkedIn, and you found their email address, and you've done all that stuff, you can, it's dedupable very easily. So we don't worry about that. But the bottom line is that after getting the groups, you bring it in here, then you click on one of them, and depending on how many members there are, there's 688 here. That's going to take about a little over an hour to pull down the members. But here's what's really cool. Okay, now think about this. You can join almost any group. If you want to join a group of business coaches or life coaches or real estate investors, or just highly specific people that do yoga. There's all kinds of people on Meetup. I could talk for the next hour about how many different groups there are. So almost whatever you want, it's there. And I'm choose business networking because I'm promoting business networking. But so you select one of these, okay, and you set the limit here down here to the same number that you have here, and you hit the play button, and that will pull down the so you have a choice here. Get members of meetup groups is what you want to select. Okay, so after you hit that button, you come back a little over an hour later. You're going to have all of these people in here that you've got all kinds of information. You've got their photo, their name, the group name that they belong to, their basic information, okay, which is their location, all right. And then after you acquire and different information about them here as well, also it pulls in their interests, a lot of their interests. So when you join Meetup, they ask you all kinds of different interests, and data points, and so it pulls that information in as well, which is searchable in the broadcast tab. So you can actually have thousands of people in a target market, and then also on top of that search their specific interests. Okay, so this person's interested in horses and travel and things like that. So you can put in specific things, and then that further defines the type of people that you want to connect with. After you bring them in, okay, then you come back, you select all of the ones that you want to reverse engineer. In this case, you just select all of them. You come back to the play button here, and you select LinkedIn Associator. So what that does is, and you don't want to, when you do that, let me back up here, you want to do it 100 at a time, okay? So if you've got, let's say 1,000, then you don't want to do more than 300 a day, and that's just a LinkedIn limit of the number of page views in your account. So you don't want to do more than about 350 page views in a LinkedIn account on a given day. So if you search 300 of these, what it will do is it'll take the name and the location, and that's important, and it will go in and it will find that person, and it will bring in their photo, and then you can match it up. Okay, not all photos will match. However, you don't need every single person because you've got so many to work with, especially in business networking, that it's about, I've found about 80% of the people that are doing business networking on Meetup are on LinkedIn. Might be a little bit higher. And so you can come in here and you can go, okay, was this person, this person? If they're not, okay, like this person here, all right, I'm not positive that this person is this person. So I come in here, I can select, and I can come down here and delete them, all right, and then they're out of there. So what you do is you go through each of the associations, and after you're done, all right, then you can once you ran that, the LinkedIn Association, it's going to get a lot of their emails, okay, over here. Now from there, if you just want to keep just that data, you can save it right here, all right. But generally speaking, you're going to want to come over here, and it will populate the data over here. And then you want to, you want to figure out, okay, well, how do I want to message these people? If it's less than 40 people at a clip, like let's say you've done a search here, you put up a search term like horses, and let's say you've got 1,000 of the profiles here, you can hit the enter button, it'll match up those interests. And so if you just wanted somebody with an interest in horses, then you would find them. But usually you're not going to do that. You can message people in Meetup directly, all right, but you want to be very careful because Meetup is not real big on automation, and people are a little bit sensitive about receiving messages, so it has to be very on topic. And if you're going to do it, then you need to mention the group that you're in, so they know that it came from the group. Generally speaking, you're going to either invite them to connect on LinkedIn, okay, and build up your LinkedIn presence, which is a good thing to do. Or you're going to, after you've sent an invite once, a week later you can just send LinkedIn messages. Now, you don't have to download from LinkedIn to make sure that this person is connected with you, because what the software will do is it will just go in and scan that name in your first connections to see if it matches. So if the person has connected with you, it'll send a message. If they haven't, don't worry about it. The primary thing to do is to send people an email. So you're going to have thousands of people from the Meetup groups, more than likely, and they will be in here, and you can search their interests if you want, and you can select, and after you've selected, then you can click email, and then from the message tab, then you can go ahead and email message those people. So if you've got, let's say you've got a reasonable amount of business networking people, like 5,000, you've got their email addresses, you can export it, you can save it here, okay, and you can export that to a different email system if you so choose, or you can use the one here. Now, if you've got an SMTP that will handle 5,000 emails, and you have 5,000 in a database, whether you send it through this system or whether you send it through a different system, what you can do with it is what's important. And what you can do with it is to promote business networking events for other people, and you can charge them for this. And there's two ways to do that. One, you can say, hey, look, I've got a list of, let's say 5,200 as an example. Let's say I've got 5,200 business networkers in this city area that I live in, and I know you're promoting an event, and would you pay me X amount of dollars to send out an email broadcast and invite them to your event? That's going to save them a lot of time. Now, you could sell the database as well, but I personally think it's better not to do that. I personally think it's better for you to use it just yourself, and to make sure that you keep it clean and that the people know you. The more you do with LinkedIn, okay, the more invites and connections you get in that list, and be able to message them through LinkedIn. You can message 300 people a day through LinkedIn. The more you do that, then the better. So in practice, you're going to end up doing some of them through LinkedIn and then the rest through email as a best case scenario. So if you can invite, business networkers, 5,200 of them, or however many you end up with, and could be many times that, depending on how large the city is and how long you've been doing this. That's some real cash, because there's 1,000 events going on at any given time in any city, and it's very easy to find out who those people are. All you do is you go to Eventbrite, and voila, they're all there. You just put in business networking, you put in the city, and it will display all of them. And about 1,000 events a month is pretty standard for a large city. If you're in a medium-sized city, and you've only got 100, that's still 100. There is a lot of events going on all of the time, and connecting and communicating with those people that are promoting those events. You can, if you don't already have them in your database, then you can look them up on LinkedIn, and you can connect, communicate, maybe even call them and say, look, hey, I know you've got your business event. It's going on, every month for the next year. And how would you like to have a lot of extra people? Now, there's another way to do this instead of just charging for a broadcast, and it's actually a better way, and that is to set up a registration page of your own and set it up specifically for that event, and then you can copy the one that individual is using, so that they've got all the information, and bring people in, and just simply charge per reg for that event. Now, Eventbrite will tell you how much that person is charging. Okay, they'll say, is this event free, or is it $50 or whatever? It doesn't matter a lot. The free ones are easier to work with because you don't have to charge in the registration page. If that's true and money is exchanged, then you can get that event coordinator to set up another registration page on Eventbrite and coordinate the money so that you can look at all of the traffic and make sure that all of the sales are correct. You always want to track that. Don't ever track it through a phone number or anything like that. You want to be very specific about tracking that, and you want to agree up front as to how much you're going to get paid. So anyway, that is how it's done. You can make a lot of money from doing event promotion within your city. So that's the number one use of the system. Now, there's another really cool way other than pulling in people from Facebook groups, and of course, if you build your own Facebook group, then you can promote within that group as well. You can message everybody and post and say, hey, this is this event is going on. We'd like to highlight this, and of course, when people register, you're making money. So, linked group miner. This is a pretty cool addition to this, and we didn't have it on the original system. We added it because there's a lot of mileage to be had. So what we do here is we can target specific groups. Now, Network After Work, okay, is a national company that in most every city that's a good size, medium, or large city, they have a group on LinkedIn. Now there's other groups out there as well, but I'm just saying, whenever you look for a group on LinkedIn, just put in business networking and then the city name, and it'll pull up those groups. Now, that's if you're doing business networking. If you're doing something else like naturopaths and then the city name, then it'll pull up that type of group. So whatever group, whatever type of niche market that you're targeting, then you would put that in, you'll bring it up, you'll join the group, and then you'll come in here into the system and you'll select Get Group. After you've got your groups, then you select the group up here. Okay, you just check box that. And again, you don't want to do more than 100 operations at a time. So you set that to 100, as this is down here. Okay, and then you just hit the play button. And from there, you can bring in the people, and you can take a look and go, okay, are these the exact kind of people that I want? There may be a few people inside the group that you don't want to connect with. Okay, if that's the case, then you would select the one that you don't want and then delete them. I like to look at the profiles before I invite them. Now, one of the cool things here is that we will attempt to get their email, and we can't, it's only part of the time that we can get it, but we're going to attempt to get their email. And so you don't necessarily need to invite them if you already have their email. It's up to you. It just depends on how you want to coordinate this. But if you have a free account in LinkedIn, you can invite 50 people a day. If you have a business premium, you shouldn't really do more than about 70. 60 is a better number, actually. And if you have Sales Navigator, you can do 100. So that's the rule of thumb on the number of people you can invite. So if you want to invite, you just select, okay, you just come down here and select down here, and then you select your invitation and click message, and it'll go ahead and invite them to connect. So when you set up your messages here, you want to set up one specifically for invite purposes. And invitations are different than actual messages in LinkedIn. Invites, you only have so many characters. The best thing to do, and this will automatically personalize your invite, but best thing to do is just say that you found them in the group, you can name the group, and that you'd like to connect with them. And because you have that local synergy, then they are much more likely to connect with you. One of the really cool things about this whole local promotion system is that people are friendlier if it's in your own local area when you connect with them. They're much more likely to communicate with you, to accept your invite, to look at your message, and not to be quite so irritated if it's an email. It's like it becomes more personal, and your response rates are much better. And that is why I took the time to add in everything that I did into this system and to develop it. Taken to its logical conclusion, you can make thousands of dollars every month just promoting events if you don't do it, nothing else. You can also build up a really nice a group of your own. And I suggest that you do a Facebook group, not a LinkedIn group, because you can communicate a lot easier within your Facebook group. And LinkedIn has a lot of restrictions on their groups, and that's a big mistake by LinkedIn. But because of that, we don't have a group building facility for LinkedIn. We mine the groups and we bring them in and attempt to get their emails and stuff like that. But if you're building a group, in your city, and especially like a business networking group, you can get people a lot easier just by reaching out locally and inviting them to the group and making sure that you have some cool activity within that group. So you can take a look at different business networking groups within your own city or other cities and get some really good ideas on that. I could go into it, but that's really beyond the scope of this promo and training. So there it is. This is a local promoter. Highly targeted people in your own local area that are more friendly to you, and the ability to get their email addresses and market to them over and over again. All right, thank you for watching.